The next thing to look at is the manipulate and modify tools on the main toolbox and how they work with 3D objects. First, of course, is copy and move, and you've seen that in action already, but just want to emphasize a couple of things. In the isometric view here, I have a slab solid and a simple line. The line is not in the plane of the slab solid, it's merely floating in space. If I select the slab solid and make a copy, and move is exactly the same, of course. Let's say I grab by this corner. Now you have to watch the other three views to see what's actually happening. Right now my compass is orientated vertically, so if I move the object in the compass axis, then this object remains in the compass axis. Now you can tell that from the top view and the front view, which are both moving but remain in the compass plane. If I move it what appears to be out of the plane of the compass, it actually isn't, of course. The compass is active, therefore whatever I do is in the plane of the compass. And again, you can tell this from the top and the right side views. The new object is in line with both of those views, therefore I'm in the plane of the compass. The only way to get out of this is to turn AccuDraw off with that, or to snap to a snap point off the compass plane, which is what that end of the line is. So now you can see in the other three views that I'm off the compass plane. If I snap to that, then my object is in place where I want it, and it's not part of the original compass plane. Now you've probably experienced this problem through this whole series of videos where we need to think about where the compass plane is. Now I could turn off the AccuDraw tools if I wanted to during an operation such as I've just done. Don't have to do it beforehand necessarily. If we now look at other tools, such as, let's say, modify element, and try that on my objects. Let's zoom to the isometric. The modify element tool is running. If I select my object, I get the standard stop sign, meaning that I can't use that tool on this type of element. On the other hand, if I look at the stretch tool, start that, and place my selection box around that end, then indeed I can use the stretch tool to stretch my object. However, you can do it in isometric as I just did, but it often makes more sense to do that sort of operation in one of the other standard views where you have more precise control, and using the view orientation you can get a precise direction. However, nothing to stop you doing it in the isometric either. Now the modify element tool will work on some elements. In fact, let me show you what I mean. So let's draw the base and the height. And I will accept a sharp vertice. And let's use the modify element tool on that. I can change the base location with that tool. Or I can change the height of the pyramid. But notice that I really need to change the orientation to make sure that my pyramid stays in orthogonal mode. So some objects can be modified with the modify element. And the last thing to look at are the element handles. So if I start my element selection tool and I select the slab, I can actually grab a handle and change its orientation and change its size. So that works okay. Let's try it on the cone, see what happens. There's the handles. I can change the size of the base. And when I drag this handle, it becomes a truncated cone. In other words, I can't change the sharp vertice. So there are some restrictions, as you can see. And you won't know until you try a few of the various solids we've been working with and try these different tools. Now later on, of course, we'll look at editing tools which are much more sophisticated. In the meantime, however, try those sets of tools and see what happens when you use them on the various types of solids.